Hey, what's happening? So, since we posted it online, I've been getting a lot of people asking us about the 6.7 design setup that we have in the 2021 Ram Power Wagon. And I wanted to just kind of take a minute to go through that. And it's a prototype. I believe I'm the only one that has it. I've been working with their R&D of 6.7 designs about how we can improve it. I originally bought their setup that was recommended to me through their customer service, which their customer service, I mean, bar none, one of the best I've dealt with. And we're not sponsored by them or anything. We're helping them out because we have the truck available and we have the need for it. So I got the universal mount, I think it is, in rail for this truck, or Rams. I think it was both Rams, 1500 and 2500. And it comes with these riv nuts. But the problem is and I'll post a photo here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But the riv nuts, they have nothing to really grab onto. There's no steel underneath the plate that you're putting them in. It's just plastic. So once you mount everything up, it just wobbles all around. It doesn't work. You need a steel plate underneath it. And unfortunately on the Ram, there's no steel plate to mount those riv nuts to. But on the other side of that is I couldn't mount my own. So I was just going to fabricate a piece of small, like aluminum or steel, like maybe, just a little small gauge, something for that nut to grab onto. But there's not even space under there to do it. It's a real pain in the ass. So they sent me this new carbon base that actually goes into the factory screw mounts, which works absolutely perfect. It gives it good rigidity. It's not flexing around at all. We used it all the way through Death Valley. I jumped the truck. I did everything. Nothing came out. It works flawlessly. It's just a little too short. So I believe they're going to be lifting it and making it a little bit bigger and then providing a longer screw. And I will show you why it needs that now. So you'll see down here, and I have everything in, so it's kind of hard to see, but this plate down here, it's a carbon plate. And what it does is, man, I wish you could see better. And I apologize, I have everything in here. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. So we're gonna unscrew this, and then you'll see that screw right there. That is a factory screw mount hole. So it's just about a 1/4 inch longer than the factory screws themselves. And that's literally all that keeps this whole 12-inch monitor on. Like this whole thing, all the way down to those little auxiliary switches down there, all the way up. It's those two there. You unscrew this side, and then you unscrew the other one, and then you just yank on it, and this whole thing pops off. It's actually, I love the design. It's so much easier than the 4th gen. That was a royal pain in the ass to take off. But anyways, so that plate right there, it's a carbon plate. It needs to be about another 1/4 inch tall, and this is why right here. You can see how this hits and how tall this is. So my phone, obviously I'm using my phone right now, but my phone sits up like this. It's a Pro Max 13 iPhone, but it may not seem a lot, like right here using my hand, but it actually, it sticks up quite a bit, and with the rod all the way down, and it does kind of get in my view, especially with my radar detector there, which I'm moving up and hardwiring up into here, along with a dash cam. But I just don't like that. I want my phone down here, even though I don't want it to completely block my vent. But having it a little bit lower, it's easier to read. It's easier, especially with if I'm using that for my maps and not my tablet, it just makes more sense. So that, and I don't want this rod rubbing onto the carbon of the or fake carbon, I guess, of my dash. Less damage the better, right? If you can avoid it, do it. But other than that, it's absolutely perfect. It's probably moving out because I don't have it tight, but there's very little flex in this thing. I can't even tell you how happy I am with it, except for just that height. And I've already sent my measurements all over to 6.7 Designs. They're reviewing everything right now, seeing what they can do on it. I would imagine they're going to improve on it to make it even better. We've got the mount for the Switch Pros 12 here. I don't want to keep this here. I love this, by the way. It's quite a learning curve compared to the S Pod that I had before, but the reason I went with it is the S Pod is fantastic, but the LCD screen lags. So like you sometimes have to push it like 3 or 4 times. This is really easy. I press it once, it's on. Let me see if it, I mean, it's easy. Boom, on, off. I don't have to dick with it. And then you can do, I mean, I think you can do what, 3 different things on this. It's crazy all the crap you can do with it. So, okay, shut up. So really happy with that. However, I want to move it over here to my A-pillar. So you can take this little tab off, and there's a bolt up in here. So here in just a little bit, I'm going to take this bolt out. I'm going to measure it and see if like Ram Mount or if even 6-7 Designs has something where I can screw a like a little 20 millimeter or maybe 1-inch ball right here. And then I'm going to mount that that Switch Pros right here. I can, you know, run the wires up through here or wherever, or even up into my A-pillar and drop it down and mount it right here. I think it's just a cleaner look having it right here. It keeps the clutter away from here. I can mount a GoPro in the middle instead, or maybe a drop down. We move my Garmin over and do a drop down with my Samsung tablet, because that's what I use for my Onyx maps. And sometimes I'll use it for GPS for like my speedometer and stuff, because since I lifted it, I'm actually, it's probably wigging out right here, but I use my my radar detector because it has GPS on it, and it's ridiculously accurate. Because right now, usually, like if I'm going like 70, 75 miles an hour, I'm usually 9 miles an hour off of my speedometer. So, which I just haven't had time to take it down to the dealership and get my speedo calibrated, which is a little bit different in this one. So you can't use like the previous models. You could use the AEV module to adjust your speedometer, and so your gas mileage is more accurate, as well as a bunch of other things. But you can't do that in the 2021s. You lose your backup sensors if you don't do it right, so it'll lock you out. So it's a dealer only thing. Thanks for that, Chrysler. But anyways, got the Garmin Inreach. I use that when I don't have cell service. I obviously use it to message out through their app to like my wife or other guys to let them know where like my camp is. If it's an unplanned camp, I can give them my coordinates. They can reach me for emergency uses. But the one thing I use it for the most is it pairs up with my Samsung Tab A, and I can upload maps on it through GPS, through Bluetooth. So if I don't have cell service and I didn't cache an area that I decided to go into, which I usually cache everything, excuse me. So I and the surrounding areas, but sometimes I don't. You never know. Sometimes you get a wild hair up your ass, and I'm gonna go explore somewhere else. So I have that mounted on here. That's a Ram mount, and then I modified it to the bottom. So it's a Ram mount ball top, but the bottom is 6-7 Designs. So it fits the Ram mount, which is on the back of the Garmin itself. Works awesome. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I mean, it takes a lot to do that, but yeah, it works really good. I like that. I like it right there. I would actually like to move it back maybe a little bit. I mean, it is coming up forward, so I'm not sure if I mean, I guess I could lean it back if I really wanted to. It just kind of looks funky, but if there was a way that, and I haven't researched a whole lot, but if I could get this to be back here, that would be great. And then it has, it's got a better view of the sky, so it's going to transmit signals better. But overall, I'm happy. I need to add like a tab mount down here. I would like to do that, or like I'd like to have my my tablet down here. I don't know if I'm going to really want it up here. If I do, maybe if it was down. It's not very big. It's only like 7 inches, but as much view as I can have up here, especially when you're on some really tight trails. It's already hard enough. This hood goes out, forever, and it's tall. So it's, it's tough to sometimes see over, what you're getting to in any view, whether it's an inch or a foot that you get more view of seeing out is better. So that's the setup. Let us know if you got any questions on it. Reach out to 6-7 Designs, get you one if you've got a Ram. And I think it fits basically all the 5th gen Rams, either 1500 or 2500. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's something you have to ask them, but everything I've seen online with the photos, it looks good. And I think this will actually even work for a 4th gen. It just depends on those screws, how far away they are. But yeah, it's a great design so far. Oh, and I staggered, one last thing. So I staggered my mount. So I moved this this mount here to the back. You can see like these two are lined up, and then I moved this one to the back. Another suggestion I made is that where we can get this one to move back and just have multiple mounting points everywhere for those 20mm balls, just so you can move things around to fit exactly what you need. And yes, this is temporary. I didn't drill through because I didn't I knew I didn't want to keep this here, so it's a little janky Walmart looking right now, but it's not ruining anything. So anyways, that's the setup.